Hello students, today we will discuss the last topic of this chapter, applications of derivatives, and it is very important topic. Here we will discuss about the concept of maxima and minima. If I take you to the graph of any arbitrary function I am taking here, for example, when I am plotting the graph is going like this. Okay, this is any arbitrary function. I have not taken any particular function here. So this curve, when I have plotted, it is representing any function y equals to fx, right? Okay, now when we look at the curve, what is happening here? This side we have taken the x-axis and this side definitely is our y-axis, right? So this is our x and y dash. So what is happening here? As the value of x is increasing, that means the input of the function is increasing, correspondingly we are getting the value of the y, that means the output, and which is giving us the graph of the curve. So this, when I look at the curve, for example, if I say we have taken the graph between these 2 points, and here we have the interval a and b. We are talking about the curve of the function in a particular interval, let it be interval AB, okay, and I have taken the interval open interval, that means the endpoints are not included. Now when I look at the curve here, what is happening? This, in this particular region, if I mark here, let it be C, in this particular region from A to C, the graph, the curve is increasing. As x is increasing, the y is also increasing, and after increasing at a certain height, for example, it has attained this height, that means at point C, it is getting its maximum, the peak. The peak has come here at this particular point. So if I say this is the value of the function at point C, so definitely if this curve is representing fx, this point will represent f of c. So here we are getting the peak, right? That means the highest value here we are getting corresponding to this value of x, that is c, we are getting this value of y, that is the output. And after getting this value, the curve has started falling down. And when it is falling down at this particular point, what is happening? It has reached the valley, that means the lowest point in the curve. Okay, and if I mark, let it be point D, and definitely this value is representing f of D. Okay, so the value is representing f of D, and once it is getting its least value, the valley, it, after getting it, it has again started increasing. So here increase is there, getting the maximum value, then it is falling down and getting the least value, and after getting the least value, it has again started increasing. So the point, this point C at which the curve is getting the maximum value, and the point D at which the curve is getting the least value, these 2 points C and D are our critical points. These are called critical points in general, and the point C, which is giving us the maximum value, this point C, which is giving the maximum value, we will call it is the point of local maxima. It is the point of local maxima. And the point D, where we are getting the least value of the function, this point D we will call the point of local minima. I am using a word local here. Why the word local is there? Because our interval is open interval. As I keep on changing the interval, for example, here my curve is, we have reached till this only, but if it is a never ending curve, definitely it will be never ending curve. As x I put different values, I will get correspondingly different values of y. And if I shift my interval from a to b, db, if I shift it from this end point to this, or further keep on shifting the interval, my values, that means my peaks and valleys will keep on changing, right? So this peak and this valley we are getting in this local neighborhood, that means in the open interval AB. and as I shift my interval, the peak and the valleys will be different, and so on, right? So that is why it is maximum in its local neighborhood. This is the minimum value in its local neighborhood, right? Local neighborhood means when I take the few points to the left of this and few points to the right of this curve or this point, in that local neighborhood, this is the point of local maximum. And similarly, if I take the few points in its local neighborhood to left and right, and I am getting this point where the function is getting the least value, that is called the point of local minima. Okay, so this is, first of all, we are talking about the graph, but in this chapter we are not going to plot the graph for the function, but as the name of the chapter says, it is based upon the derivatives. It is the application of derivative. So here once again we will use the derivative to find this point of local maxima and the point of local minima, and the point which is getting where it is local maxima, corresponding value f of c will be called local maximum value, right? And corresponding to this point d, whatever f of d we are getting, this will be called local minimum value. Okay, so this is all about with the help of graph. But now let us turn or shift to the concept of derivatives. How the derivatives will help here. I am taking the same curve here once again, and definitely a small change can come when we are taking. So this is our valley, this is our peak, and correspondingly if I say this is the interval A, this is the interval A, and let us take till this point we have taken B, and this is our same value I am taking. This is the C value, and this valley point we are taking D, right? Peak and one valley we have taken. Now how will we check with the help of derivatives that which point, this point is the point of local maxima and this is the point of local minima, and from where we will get these C and D points? First question, whatever curve is given to us, that means whatever function is given to us for which we have to find the local maxima and local minima, there are two different methods. First we are talking about the first derivative test, and this is common. Whatever I am going to tell you, this is common in both the tests actually. So first we will take the function, right? The next step will be we will find the derivative f dash x, and after finding the derivative we will write down for critical points how we are getting the critical points. If you notice, I mentioned here these C and D points are called critical points, right? So the critical points are the points where the derivative of the function becomes 0. So the critical points are the points where the derivative of the function either vanishes or it does not exist, where it is not differentiable. So there are two types: the point where the function is not differentiable, or the point where the derivative of the function becomes 0. That point is called critical point. So here how we are getting the critical point? We are finding the derivative and then we will equate the derivative to 0 to get the critical points. Let us assume we are having here definitely a cubic function, so that when I differentiate it I am getting a quadratic, and when I am getting the quadratic and equating the quadratic to 0 I am getting 2 points, right? I have assumed this just to explain you people the concept and these 2 points particularly here. So let us assume we are getting here 2 critical points C and D. There can be 3 also, there can be 4 also, there can be even 1 also, right? So here are the critical points C and D. Now once you get the critical points, what is the method? Let me explain here. So once we are getting the critical points C and D, these are our critical points, right? And these critical points, when I take on the graph, or I will take here, for example, the interval is given, open interval, any interval, open interval is given for that particular function, or set of real number is given for that particular function. Accordingly, we will take the interval. If you remember in the second exercise of this chapter, we also used to do finding the derivative, equating the derivative to 0, and then those points whatever we are getting the real values of x, we used to take on the real number line, right? So we used to take on the near real number line in the exercise 6.2. Here what we will do, whatever interval is given here, for example C and D are the 2 points that we are getting and I have taken here. Now when I take these C and D points in the on the defined interval, right, and then we will discuss, or then we will see the sign of the derivative before that point C and after that point C. That means to the left of C point and to the right of C point. And what is this C point? C is our critical point, right? So the rule says if C is the point of maxima, right, as I have taken C here, P for peak I have taken C, and f of C point will be the maximum value, and for point D the value f of D that I am getting, it is the least value. So if my C is giving me the maximum value and D is giving me the least value, so this side as the curve is increasing, here the derivatives sign will be greater than 0 in the interval a to c, right? If you take any point in this interval, f dash x will be positive, and after this, so here f dash x is positive, it is going high, and after getting the maximum value, f dash x will be negative, that means it is going down, right? And here it is getting the least value, and as the curve is going up, that means here f dash x is again positive. So in short, if the derivative sign changes from positive to negative when we go around x-axis through the point C, as we move from along x-axis through the point C, if derivative changes the sign from positive to negative, so that point C is called the point of local maxima, right? I am repeating, when the derivative before C is positive and after C it is negative, so C is called the point of local maxima. And when D will be called the point of local minima, that before D the sign of derivative is negative and after D the sign of derivative is positive. So how we will take before D and after D, before C and after C? We will consider its local neighborhood. Like if C is the point, that means this is the neighborhood where we are having the values C minus H to C in this interval, right, where H is very small, almost negligible, but positive value. If I discuss or if I find the sign of derivative in this interval, right, that means you can take any value which is lying between A and C and check the sign of the derivative if it is positive, and after C, between C and D, if you take any point, check the sign of derivative if it is negative. So what is happening? Around C point the sign is changing from positive to negative, so C will be called point of local maxima and f of C will be called the local maximum value or local maxima only. Okay, similarly D will be called the point of local minima if before D sign of derivative is negative and after D sign of derivative is positive, then it will be considered as the point of local minima. This is the first derivative test. So you people have the results. If you want, we can write down here. We will say first derivative test. First derivative test says, first of all, y is a function. I am explaining the working method of this test, and then we will find the derivative f dash x, and for the critical point CP, that is the critical point, we will equate the derivative to 0 to get real values of x. Real values of x, and this f of x function, it is defined, if I say, on any interval I, right? It will be defined on any interval, and we have to see when we are equating the derivative to C, these real values of x should belong to the interval I, and these values of x, let us say it is coming c or d or e and so on. So this c, d, e, they should belong to the interval, right? If they are not belonging to the interval, we will not consider those values of x. We will consider that c, d, e only which belong to the given interval, that means which belong to the domain of the function, right? Because here if you look at the curve, I have taken 2 points within the domain of the function, right? I have not taken any other point outside the domain. Similarly, in the previous curve, I have not taken any point outside the domain where the domain of the function was open interval ab, right? So we have to consider those points only where the function is defined to find the critical points. Okay, so once the critical points are done, what we will do, we will take the intervals. Let us say this I interval, let the interval I be open interval a comma b, right? Why I have taken, just to explain you the method. So what we will do here, we will write down the interval. So what are the intervals becoming? This c, d, e will be lying between a and b. So the interval will become the interval will become a to c, then the next will be c to d, and the next will be d to e, and the last interval, let us say e to b. All are open intervals. We are taking open intervals because if I include the endpoints, and how we are getting the endpoints, we are getting the endpoints by equating the derivative to 0. So those points we cannot include here where the derivative is vanishing, right? So the same thing we will do. Okay, so here we will check the sign of derivative, right? So a to c and c to d, let us assume in a to c f dash x, it is coming greater than 0, and from c to d f dash x is coming negative. We are just assuming. So as that means before c it is coming positive and after c it is becoming negative. If I show you this on the number line, if I take the interval on the number line, you will find it, you will understand it in better way. Let us mark the interval here a and b. We have the critical point c, then the d and e. These are the 3 critical points we are getting. So what is happening here? In the interval a to c, if f dash x is greater than 0, and in the interval c to d, if f dash x is less than 0. That means c point is the point where before c it is positive, getting the maximum value, then it is falling down. Then this point c is called point of local maxima. Okay, and here before d, now this is already done, and by chance here if f dash x is positive, now before d what is happening, the derivative is negative, but that means curve is falling down, getting the least value, and after it has started going up, right? So this point d will be called point of local minima, where we will get the minimum value. And by chance what is happening here around c, before e also the derivative is positive, and after e also the derivative is positive. That means there is no change in the sign of the derivative before and after e. If there is no change in sign of derivative before and after any particular point, so we will say as f dash x does not change its sign through the point E, so E is called point of inflection, right? So this point E will be called then point of inflection. That means this is the point where we are not getting maxima, we are not getting minima. So that point will be called point of inflection. I hope the first order derivative test is clear. It is very similar to exercise 6.2 concept. The only thing is there we were concerned about the interval. if f dash x is positive in this interval, so this is the interval where function is increasing. Same thing is here. Here we are not giving the interval, so the point at before which, if in this interval the function is increasing, in the very next interval the function is decreasing, so the point which is breaking that interval or combining those intervals, that point is called point of maxima. Similarly, D point, if in the interval CD the function is decreasing and in the interval DE the function is increasing, that means D is the point of local minima. If you want to connect both the things, then this is how we will do. So this is our first derivative test, right? And the next is second order derivative test. How that test will be done, let us understand that also. It is second derivative, means second order derivative test. Second order, the name itself is suggesting that here we will find the second order derivative also. Initial steps will remain same. Whatever function is given y equals to fx, we will find the derivative, and for the critical points we will equate the derivative to 0. Let us assume that we are getting here the value of x as c. Let it be there is only one critical point. Now after getting this second order derivative, and the most important condition for the second order derivative test is that the function should be differentiable twice, right? The function should be differentiable twice. If the function is a linear function ax plus b, that I can differentiate once only. Second order derivative if I find, it will vanish, so there will be no use of second order derivative test. So the function should be differentiable twice, only then we can apply the second order derivative test, right? So the initial steps are same. Whatever function is given, we will find the derivative, equate the derivative to 0 to get the critical points, and then we will find the second order derivative, right? Now the rule says, if this second order derivative that you have calculated, I will check the sign of second order derivative at this critical point, right? So what we will do, if f double dash c, it is coming negative, right? That means in the second order derivative I will put x as c. If second order derivative is negative at that particular critical point, then we will say c is the point of local maxima. C is the point of local maxima and local maximum value. Now how do we get the maximum value or the minimum value of the function? If I put that particular point in the function, so the local minimum value is given by, local maximum value will be given by f of c, right? So here the sign goes opposite way. If second order derivative is negative at c, then c is called the point of local maxima and the local maximum value will be f of c. This method, second order derivative method, is very important method, because all the word problems of this chapter as well as all the word problems of miscellaneous exercise of this chapter, we will be using this test only, right? So remember, the sign is in opposite direction. Second order derivative is negative, so the point of local maxima. And if the second case is, if second order derivative is positive at that particular point, then this c is called, then c is the point of local minima, right? And local minimum value, what will be the local minimum value? It will be given by that f of c, right? So here let us mention if word. If second order derivative at that critical point is positive, then that critical point is called the point of local minima, and the minimum value will be given by if I put that critical point in the function. Okay, so this is all about the tests. the first order derivative test and the second order derivative test. When the interval is given open interval, right, and if I change the interval to closed interval. Now if y is defined a function on the closed interval ab, then the rule says if I draw the curve, let us assume here any curve is there, and here I am ending that this is b and it is including a also including. Now we have the closed interval. That means it is fixed. My focus is now fixed that I have this much curve only. I am not bothered about the curve to the left of a or about the curve to the right of a, because it is closed, right? The region is now closed. And when the interval is closed interval, then the function will have, when the interval is closed, then the function will have absolute maximum value, absolute maximum value and absolute minimum value. Then it will not be the local values, it will be the absolute values, because in the defined interval, in the closed interval, the function will always get at least at one time the maximum value and at one time always the minimum value. So there will always be one maximum value and always be one minimum value for sure, and those maximum and minimum values will be called here absolute. Okay, so whenever the function is given and the interval is given closed, that means we are supposed to find absolute maxima and absolute minima. Clear? Here also the method remains the same. Whatever function is given, we will find the derivative and we will equate the derivative to 0. Let us assume that we are getting the values of x as c, d and e. These are the three critical points we are getting, where c and d, they belong to closed interval ab, and there is a possibility that one or two critical points, they do not belong to the closed interval ab, that is the domain of the function. If it does not belong, this e we are not supposed to consider. So we have, that means these two critical points. Now since the interval is given closed, so what we will do, as the interval is closed and these are the two critical points, so once we get the critical points when the interval is given closed and when we are finding absolute maximum value and absolute minimum value, what we will do, we will directly find the values of the function. That means we will find f of a, we will find f of b, the critical points values f of c, and we will find f of d. So these four values we will find of the function at the end points of the interval as well as the critical points of the interval. Among these four, the value which is maximum, that will be called absolute maximum value, and the value which is least, that will be called absolute minimum value. And for sure you will always get here one maximum value, one minimum value whenever the interval is given closed interval. So it is not necessary that they will mention find the absolute maxima, absolute minima. Simply we have to check if the interval is given closed, that means we are supposed to find absolute maxima and absolute minima. And if the interval is open, that means we are finding the local maxima and local minima, right? So we have to take care of these things. So this is all about the method right now, that how we will be finding. And remember, this first order derivative test we will be doing in few sums only, but most of the sums we will be doing with the help of second order derivative test. What is that? Whatever function is given, finding the derivative, equating to 0, getting the critical point. At that critical point we will check the sign of second order derivative. If second order derivative is negative, that means c is the point of local maxima, and if second order derivative is positive, so c will be the point of local minima. Okay, and the first order derivative test is very similar to our exercise 6.2, where we discussed or where we calculated the intervals of increasing function, decreasing function. Okay, so I want you people to just go through the video, understand the concept clearly, carefully, note down all these things in your register so that we can start with the exercise. Thank you, students.